Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday. It is prompt day. Let's get into it. It's prompt number 110. Here we go. Oh, just pulled the marker out of the page, so now I don't know. Dang it. Let's see. We've got... Oh, okay, here we go. We have curtains and tripod. All right. That is blown out. Oh, that is dark. If you don't follow me on social media, you don't know that my camera has been sent off for repairs, so I'm going back to the old days. I'm using my iPhone. And as you can see, it's going well. All right, here we go. All right, now that we have our quality recording back, we can start drawing without our eyeballs hurting. So right away, when I think of tripod, obviously I use a tripod and so do a lot of YouTubers, and because YouTube is my job, that is what I immediately thought of. I thought a YouTuber, so maybe a YouTuber's room, and then I thought, you know, I have an office now, and it's something that I'm very happy and thankful that I can have in my life. As a creative, who doesn't want a whole dedicated room for their crafts and just messing up and storing their things in and creating in and getting into the mood in? So that's what I thought of, and so my first sketch is an isometric room of my office, I guess kind of like a dedication to finally having my first office art room sort of thing. The second is just a camera with flowers and stuff around it, which I then realized that I didn't draw a curtain on. Whoops. The third sketch was a camera, I guess, spying on someone through their windows. I don't know. Was it going to be a statement on something? Social media? Who knows? And the fourth was some kid performing on stage for their school or something. I don't know. At that point, I was really wanting to do an isometric room. It's been a while. And I like the idea, so that's what I decided to go with. So getting into these isometric drawings, I just kind of wing it. The sketch is just what you saw in the prompt book, and I didn't do any more additional sketching. So what I do is I get a very, I guess, vague or detailed image of what I want in my head and just kind of go for it. I measured out all of the bits and stuff for the room, like the walls, and then I sort of lightly sketched, I guess, some of the furniture in my office just to make sure that I had the scale correct and that nothing was going to look too terribly off. And then I got to work penciling everything else. Now, since this is on a rectangle piece of paper, which I am doing this on a 11 by 14 piece, I don't normally work that large when it comes to prompts or even these isometric rooms. I gotta say, working bigger sure does make it a lot easier than those really tiny 8 by 10 drawings. Though the smaller, the cuter. So as you can already see at this point, I thought I would actually put ants into this piece. Now, as you guys know, putting ants into these prompts is kind of something I've banned myself from. Because they do stunt creativity, I think they aren't making any more new ideas, and just redrawing ants over and over my prompts I feel like would be a waste for other ideas. But because I was already going to do this isometric room of my office, I figured why not put ants in there too? Like I said, it is a rectangular piece of paper so that I can frame it. And isometric rooms are normally squares, so I put a little secret room coming out of my closet that leads to an ant place. Now, when it comes to the scale of these ants, these aren't actually how big I imagine these guys being. Obviously, these are cartoon versions of ants. They aren't actually ants. They don't have 6 limbs. They're quite larger, I think. If I were to draw one of my ants to scale, I think it would probably, I don't know, I imagine them being an inch high or something like that. So the ants I drew in this illustration are represented a little bigger, and the room they're going into again is represented in a bigger state. I was thinking about drawing a really small 2-scale version of their room in the empty part on the left there, but it just seemed like it was going to be squished in, and I didn't want to add any extra details that would kind of distract. So I want you to imagine that this little secret room coming out of the closet is actually a lot smaller. So imagine the ants being an inch tall, so everything else is, you know, to scale. So because this is an actual representation of my office, you might be having a few thoughts, a few questions in your head. Do I actually have a polar bear rug in my office? Yes, I do. It is fake. I would never get an actual real fur rug, but it's just so dang cute, and it's something I've always wanted for some reason, so I made it happen. The giant cactus is not a thing yet. I bought a huge roll of felt and a giant pot to make a 6-foot tall cactus one day. I bought it almost a year ago at this point, but I just haven't gotten around to making a video where I make it. I got all excited thinking about making this thing, so I bought all the materials, and then I realized that if I wanted to record a video of me making a giant 6-foot cactus, I wanted to make sure I had the room to do so. And up until about a month ago, I was working out of my living room, so I just knew that the space wasn't going to be the best to work on a project like this, so I held off for a little while. And now that I have my own office, I'm just very anxious to get on that. Moving on to other things that don't actually exist in my office, I put a Good Mythical Morning poster behind the cactus, which I do have a Good Mythical Morning poster back in Tennessee, so I do plan on hanging that in that area once it comes. But overall, I do really enjoy these isometric rooms, and I think it's just so fun that now I have a little representation of my first ever office. It's so cute. It's like a little dedication to my life right now, and I think it's so cute. It's like a representation of me, or a portrait of where I am in life right now, but it doesn't actually include me in it. That's kind of cool. So the ants do represent, I don't know, my little helpers or something. I think the ants have become such a big part of my life, and one day I hope that they will become an even bigger part of my life when I make a book, merchandise, a plushie that may or may not be in the works right now. So as you can see, the ants are very dedicated to me. They have a little shrine for me in their secret room. They make art of me. They have a little schedule of what I'm up to at any point of the day hanging on the wall. If this is something that I could make happen in the real world, heck yes, this would be adorable. But it doesn't, womp womp. As far as ant drawings go, I'm actually not going to include this as an official ant drawing because this is more of an isometric personal drawing, and I don't know, I just kind of threw ants in there, so I don't feel like it fits into the ant illustration set of drawings. Oh, I will say really quick, my most favorite part or detail of this illustration are the pieces of paper and the Micron pen that has fallen behind my desk and is like stuck in between the wall. I don't think anything has fallen back there yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was something. I just thought myself so clever to think of a way to add details behind the furniture that is represented against the wall, but then have something actually back there that is interesting to look at and not just this blank canvas. I did think about putting an ant back there, but with the size I was representing them with, I thought, they just get squished. So I came up with a cuter detail of some pieces of paper and a pen. Is that cute? I don't know. It's silly. I like it. Something I was a little worried about this illustration was it just overall being kind of dull and not the brightest, and I feel like it's something that I couldn't really help because my furniture is very grayish brown color, and I don't actually have a lot of very bright things in my office. I have a few cacti here and there. I have art on my wall, but overall everything's kind of earthy in here, so it was something I was a little afraid of, but in the end I think even though it's kind of dull, especially in the ant area, it's alright, it's pretty cute. I do wish somehow I was able to brighten up especially the ant area, but I'm still happy how it turned out. It's kind of an attic-y dirt area. I guess that would be more of a basement, but I do live in an apartment. Anyways, I am getting off topic. Actually, I don't have anything else to say. All right, well, I guess that's this illustration. I will see you guys in the end card to see your prompt entries from last week. Last week's prompts were ballet and jewelry, and our first featured artist took this in such an interesting way. I enjoyed it so much. Small Person Yes created a hand that was dressed up like a ballerina, and because it's a hand, it can have jewelry on it. So I thought that was so silly and cute. Just look at the face drawn on that hand. I love this. Thanks so much for joining in, and our second featured artist is Rastoropsius Pictures. I enjoyed the character design on this ballerina so much. It was so cool, all the jewelry on her. You put so much detail, and the stylization is just so much fun, and the colors. I also really enjoyed your description of this piece, your reasoning behind things that you added to this character, like the wings or the crown were because I think they look cool. Heck yes, I can definitely get behind that reasoning. All right, thank you guys so much for joining in, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.